As you know, parole is a privilege.
It's a mistake, but it happened. And if I were to be released, I would just want the simple life.
Is it genetic? Are the whole family like this?
Literally.
The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching, and the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they are right, what they are wrong, and how it could have been better. Really hope you enjoyed last week's interview with an actress that in this film, she had a very small part, the role of Kara, but going forward, she has so much going on in the last few years, and that's actress Charlotte Kirk. We talked about her brand new movie that's going to be coming out. That's going to come out the day before this airs. It'll be August 8th. It's called Duchess. Looks absolutely badass. I'm so happy I got the opportunity to talk with her. From London, moved to the States at 19 to pursue that dream. And she really, over the last 4 or 5 years, she has had some amazing roles that not only she auditioned for or worked for, she wrote them and produced the movies. So she has a lot of stake in the game. And she's going to be playing Nicole Brown Simpson in the Juice movie that started filming just before COVID. So she was doing that before she was having all the success in the action and sci-fi films. So if you haven't heard that interview, be sure to check it out, and be sure to check out Duchess. Charlotte was awesome. And wow, this week's sequel is one that I didn't even think of when I got reached out to by somebody that does PR for Charlotte. And there was like the options, and it was like, man, Jamie, she has so much stuff going on. She has a big movie coming out. What can we do? It was like Tekken, a Tekken sequel. I watched like 20 minutes of it, spot checked it. Tekken fans, I'm sorry. It was terrible, and I wasn't even watchable. So I was like, oh, Ocean's 8. So that's what we're talking, the all-female heist movie where they posed the question many times, is Danny Ocean alive? But before I talk about any of it, I think there's a huge plot hole, and I really hope Jamie has this written down, I'm pretty sure. Before we talk about that or anything else, can I introduce you to my partner in this sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you?
I'm doing good, Doug. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Your temperature on this movie, I know you don't like when it's like a remake and a retelling, and they do female, like the Ghostbusters.
Okay, so first of all, okay. I'm gonna say right off the bat, I hated this movie. The movie was hated. It was a drag to get through, and I knew I hated it 5 minutes in when she's not even released yet, and they're trying to force the fact that she's a thief throughout the first 10 minutes of the movie. She does so many things. She's barely released from prison after 5 years, and she's already committed about 15 crimes. It was like thrown in your face so much that I'm like, I'm gonna hate this movie. And I did. And then I'm like, you know what? I know that Doug and our guest hasn't been mentioned yet is probably going to like the movie. But then I realize that our guest only comes on for bad movies.
Is true.
That makes sense that he is here on my side. But my guess is you and our guest like the movie. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, no. And before, I can't remember all, because he's done so many sequels. He's been great. He's done the Halloween where Jamie Lee Curtis, kisses her brother in the movie, Resurrection. He's our Munchie expert covering 2 of the Munchie sequels. He's dissected the piranhas that are in 3 Double D and the ones that are from the 1981 that can fly in the air, and so many other sequels. Howling 2, man, so many gems. Oh, but there is one good one. Rocky 5 is a bad one. But he did get Cannonball Run 2 alive in studio just before COVID started. And that is our pal, Nick Spurdo. Nick, how are you?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me back, Doug, Jamie. It's always good to see you guys. And, I'm not going to spoil anything about my feelings on this movie, but we've come a long way, haven't we? We've come a long way.
Okay, so that just gave it away. And you know what? You're going back to bad movies because, I really, 5 minutes in, I'm like, I'm going to hate this movie. And first of all, it was like a remake, not even like a sequel or prequel. It was a remake of the original Ocean's 11. It's the same plot almost, this outside of money and jewels. It's the same. They even have like the same guy hiding in a thing, and like it's just ridiculous.
Oh, they did.
And,
I know, right? Wasn't that funny? It was the only one.
Yeah, but that's it's just so stupid. And I mean, there's just way too many unbelievable things that happen in this movie. My main question is, what's the time frame from the minute she's released to the act of the theft?
Oh, it's they say it's at least it was 3 weeks that they were all together as a team. So I don't know how long did they take them to get everybody together? Maybe a week or two. So probably a month, I would think.
Okay, so a month that they scrounged up random people that they don't even know to pull off the most
random people, the way they pick the people, it's like the Muppet movie. The beginning of the movie, they're driving around and just saying, "Hey, who's great at something? Hey, the 3-card Monty girl."
Ridiculous. I mean, the fact that they scraped them off, like they had like a list. Like, where do you have a list like that? How is there a list of like, oh, the best cyber hackers here, and the best diamond person here, and like there's a list out there for people to, if you just want to grab them, because they have
the villain hotline. Remember,
there's a category on Craigslist.
Movie. Yeah, we just watched a movie where it's the villain movie. Like, even like the other Ocean movies, for the most part, like when we watch movies, it's like, oh, the person that we're watching and rooting for, they're good. These are horrible people.
No, they're
like,
horrible.
They're defrauding companies.
Absolutely.
That insurance company that lost $150 million, guess what, folks? Half that company got laid off. They're living on the streets, all because, Ocean Girl. Well, what are we doing here?
Okay. And lastly, they all stand out like a sore thumb throughout the whole movie. Every scene they're in, they stand out so bad that how are people not like seeing them? They somehow blend in everywhere. Like, we have a lot to discuss.
We'll get into it. And speaking of standing out, Anne Hathaway.
Ugh.
Wait, listen. They're all good looking. I mean, I even like Kate Blanchett. I think that they're all.
Oh,
like,
no,
they're all,
I know, but I'm saying Anne Hathaway in this movie.
Oh,
100%.
Gorgeous.
But in this movie, Anne Hathaway, I feel like never. I don't know. She isn't in a role that she's like beautified like that. I feel like she's always like
she was in Princess Diaries.
Princess Diaries, or
I don't think that was like flaunting her. She was like a
Dark Knight Rises,
princess.
I guess.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. She just looked.
Devil Wears Prada.
I've never seen her look like that before.
What do you? She looks good in every movie.
She's
every
time I see her,
she had this like air. I don't know.
Oh, listen, again,
she's
and
gorgeous.
I'm not a fan of Mindy Kaling or whatever her name is.
Oh, I like her. She's great.
No, I'm not a fan. To me, she's the worst part of The Office.
Oh,
every scene she's in, like my daughter and I watch The Office all the time, and every scene she's in, I'm like, oh, she's ruining this episode. Like, I just think she's a whiny, like, I just can't, like, and she plays the same role in every movie. I think she was totally doesn't fit into this role. I think it's the wrong person for, everybody else. I mean, even Rihanna, I thought she did a good job. I mean, I think, from what she was. I think Kate Blanchett playing, like, the tough, like, I think that was good. Like, actually, I think
Awkwafina?
No,
Awkwafina was great.
She's always good. I mean, she's always funny in everything she does. But, okay, we got to get to it.
Yeah.
I almost wish and I'm not a Clooney fan, and I almost wish Clooney was in this movie.
Wow.
Well, there's an opportunity at the end that we'll talk about.
Oh my gosh.
Because I was reading online that they were thinking about maybe another one. But so like Jamie alluded to already, we open up the movie. We have Sandra Bullock, who is the star, and what's her first name again? I should know it.
But
Debbie.
The beginning of this movie.
Debbie Ocean,
isn't it
Debbie,
the exact same thing that happened in the first one with George Clooney?
Yeah, they asked Clooney, like, what are you going to do when you get out of here? And
it's the same. They literally made the same movie, just a female cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
everybody's okay with that. Okay.
But that's what they do. Because you know what? If they would have wrote something different, sometimes it would be like, oh man, we're reinventing the wheel. But how much can you change a heist movie? Somebody's got to get out.
You know how you change it? Don't make it. There was no need to make it.
I'm happy they made it. I enjoyed it. A lot of people enjoyed it.
I'm not saying anything.
I want to see the lot of people. I want to see the amount of people that liked it.
5.9 on IMDb. That's over 50%.
300 million in
and
profit.
look at the reviews on IMDb. They're all negative. So let's okay. Anyway. Wait, you don't think they forced, like, they tried to show how badass she was within the first 5 minutes?
Oh no, they did.
Like,
No, her
I thought she
character.
was
She was the only character in the movie that I was just like, I like Sandra Bullock.
No,
I
do.
didn't really think she was great in the role. I think somebody else could have. I don't know. She didn't seem
I don't know.
suave to me. She's too clunky and like clumsy
Correct.
in a lot of movies.
Agreed. But the fact that they had to force it, like, literally, she's still at the jail or whatever, and she's already making deals before she even steps out. Like,
I know.
she's
Selling
claiming that she
cigarettes.
was framed, but
Yeah.
clearly she's a criminal her entire life, and she's that badass that she literally got a free hotel room. She gets new clothes. She gets all this
Oh
stuff.
my god, yeah.
Again, she just got released. Like, usually people kind of lay low a little bit. Like, and you would think that people would follow her, knowing that her brother is a maniac criminal, and then she's released. You don't think, like, they're gonna say, all right, let's see what she's gonna do. They're gonna just let it go, like, and let her do whatever she wants. Yeah, stupid.
Here's my first big question. And I've gotten in trouble as a kid, but nothing like crazy that I was in like an overnight holding cell, something like that. But could you imagine if this, obviously going to prison is the crime for what you did. You're in there for 5-10 years. But I think the biggest thing that they should make people do is whatever you came in, you leave in. Because what if she like gained a lot of weight or something happened or it was freezing out?
But she did
left in a
leave. She did
dress.
leave in a clothes. That's the clothes she went in.
That's what I'm saying. What if she
Yeah.
got huge? And what if she gained 200 pounds in prison? And
Hey, you know
it was
what?
like,
That's
okay.
You did a crime. You did a crime. You got to deal with it. So that would be a funny bit. Like a guy goes in a skinny, but first of all, how many people come in out huge? Oh, I guess in like maybe lifting ways, But that'd be funny.
Yeah.
Like they come out like wearing holes that are like the clothes that are like ripped halfway and like they barely can fit into it. No, that'd be good.
Like
but is that what
Incredible
they? Is that what they do though? Like you literally leave with everything that you walked in with, or like okay?
That's what you.
Let me ask you
That's
this.
what you do for
Okay.
an overnight. So
Okay,
I would
so
think
what-
they do the same thing.
So then, what happens if you were arrested for running around the like city naked? So, or do you
Oh,
leave like?
that's
Then
it.
you're in for you're in for a
so
fun
do they
time.
take your clothes? So, oh wait, you can't leave yet. Take your clothes off. That's not what you came in with, and then you gotta leave like that. That's
Everybody's like, "Hey, Tony's leaving, guys. Remember, he came in nothing."
I mean, but like, so like, if that's the case, then that would, what are they gonna wear to leave? It's either that or they're walking out with prison garb. The jumpsuit.
Even if what if they were like, "Sorry, you can't leave with that." That's
He
hard.
walks out in
That's
like
property
he
of
walks
the
out like
prison.
he uses like the bed sheets as like a toga, like he's like a Animal House or something.
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Oh my god. So then she goes to like the mausoleum and she says, "May my brother, may you rest in peace." And they keep doing the same bit. Random
really hit-
characters are saying like, "Hey,
Yeah.
sorry about your brother," and I'm like, "What do
How
you
did
mean?
you
like
know that he?
You don't
how'd
even
you
know
that
the
she was in
brother
prison?
that well."
And how'd you know where he was?
Well, somebody could have called her. She gets phone calls and letters.
They didn't show it. And and her brother just
Elliot
died.
Gould. It was Elliot Gould. Elliot Gould probably wrote her a letter.
Okay, but the brother supposedly just died, and he's got like the perfect spot in the mausoleum. Like it's like literally like right in the middle, like it's like the perfect like that wouldn't happen. Like he'd be all in the corner, all the way up top. Like literally, it's eye view of where she's sitting.
He's right
Yeah.
next to Jason Voorhees. In the,
Yes,
in
yeah.
the mausoleum.
Prime location. I do love
And
that
you know
they
what?
did throw Elliot Gould in here, but he looks he looks better than now than he did at that time. He looks really old. This movie's not that
Yeah.
old.
No, it's
No, when is it?
yeah. But so did they say how George Clooney died?
No, it's weird. Unless
Like,
they
that's
did
kinda-
it at the end
yeah.
of Ocean's. What was it? Ocean's 13, right?
Did he
Was the
die in
last
the
one?
movie? Did he die in the last movie?
I don't think so.
See the last one.
So that's so weird. Like it's like I mean, at least explain like he died doing what he loved, stealing or something. Like like something like give us a
robbing
story.
banks, yeah.
I mean something.
Put
like,
that on the
but, like,
put
yeah,
that on the mausoleum, like on a tombstone. Like he loved fishing. He loved his grandkids. He died doing what he
And-
loved.
Is that common? Like a whole family of just like thieves. Like I mean, like clearly, I mean, like what did she say? Her father was also a thief. So like they're just all like world class thieves.
It's the family business. No.
Yes, the family.
Well, I mean,
business.
in reality, like, when you see, crimes that are being committed, it's usually the one person. Like, it's not like a family of like bad people that are doing all
Could
these
you imagine
things.
that
Like,
whole
so-
family, like the Incredibles, like but evil, and they're like robbing houses, and the baby's involved. The baby's like pretending to cry on the sidewalk. The parents are running around back.
Wait, so you're saying the baby who's also involved in the
The baby's
robbing?
involved. Yeah.
He's the mastermind. Yeah, he's the one.
He's
He's
the
the brains
mastermind.
behind the. He's the brains behind the
And
operation.
actually, I just said I just like said out loud a scene from Big Daddy. Remember when he like breaks into the house to get this?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. So so she's out of prison, and like Jamie talked about, like they show so many tricks that she can do in 5 minutes. Like listening to the people check out at the hotel. She calls up and says, "Oh, our flight was canceled. Can I get to the room?" Hey, you
she
send
fake returns all the
yes.
perfume and.
that was good.
that was good. I want to try that.
That
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to say that on the podcast.
Oh, I mean, never mind.
But I mean, yeah. I mean, that was definitely like creative. But again, it's literally she it's almost like she went straight to the mall to do this stuff from being released from prison. Like
She was
that was her
jonesing.
first.
It's been
Oh, no,
5
she went-
years for her to rob.
She said, "Screw them all. I'm going to go to Bergdorf Goodman."
Okay,
Shoot.
and she's complaining that she was in jail for 5 years. If she just got caught with any of these things that she did, she'd be going to prison for like 20 years. She's on probation right now.
100%, yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
like, she's really gonna risk it? 5 minutes of release, like not even getting like you're in prison 5 years. Wouldn't you want to go to a park? Sit out, get fresh air, get like things you haven't done in a long time. No, let's start stealing right away.
It's
Like,
in her
yeah.
blood. It's in her blood.
Oh my gosh.
When you love what you do, it's not work, right?
Yeah, but
And,
that's
like-
why like it bothered me when she kept complaining that she was framed, but she's a criminal. Like she deserved to be in prison. So she wasn't really. I mean, like yes, he turned on her, but still, she deserved to be in
That
prison.
made no
So,
sense.
like,
That was so. We'll get to that too. That was so
Okay.
ridiculous.
All right.
Like,
All right.
but no. How about like, do the rich department stores not have like, do those bags stop like a detector, like an alarm doesn't go off? Like,
Right.
that makes no sense.
security in this entire movie is awful.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I mean, so I'm not surprised that even at the low end of a mall, the security is not good because the security around the most expensive jewelry is awful. So yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man. So so crazy. So then we get to. So then from there, she goes to the hotel. She gets into the room. She connives her way into there, and then her first call. Right. She meets up with Lou right away. Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett.
So are they dating? Because they act like it's
There
almost
was
like
a-
there was
There's
definitely something.
Yeah, there's like a history there. They're like,
It has
I don't
to
know.
Be. Like, yeah.
There were so many
That was
times I'm just like, kiss. Just go ahead and
Well,
kiss.
it just seemed like they were like.
whoa. Keep going. Keep
There-
going.
It almost seemed like it was like a past relationship.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure, like until they then you realize that she was dating this other guy and everything. But up until that point, I thought they were like in a relationship.
There's points too where the old dude is the guy is mentioned, and Kate Blanchett's kind of like she has a kind of like a jealous lover like.
Oh, that's I think that's
reaction to it.
That's her face throughout the whole movie. I mean, she was the good. She was like the bad cop to the good cop of Sandra Bullock. Like she just seemed like she seemed like a toughie. Like she was
almost
like
almost like the Brad Pitt to George Clooney, right?
Yeah, but Brad was kind of goofy. I mean, like I just feel like she was like she played like the tough girl role. And I mean, I think she's a great actress.
She
I mean,
rode a
everything
she rode a
does.
motorcycle. That was pretty badass.
I mean, I'm not surprised. Like yeah. I'm just surprised. Like I would just thought maybe like I want to see her like maybe punch someone. Like do a little action scene. She seemed like that type in this movie.
We didn't get anything.
Yeah.
No.
No.
The only action we had is the guy hanging from the rafters and which again another ripoff. So
And one line would beating a dead horse when it comes to her brother maybe being dead. How many times she says "You better be dead"? She points to the mausoleum. You better be dead. Later in the movie, she says that, And then even when somebody says, "Oh, sorry to hear your brother," and then I think she said after that, "Yeah, he better be dead." And it's like, all right, why does he have to be dead? I don't get it.
I know. Maybe they didn't have a good relationship.
I guess
But she's always at the tomb.
Or maybe she's always in his shadow. She's always in his shadow, and she wants to be the thief of the family, not him.
Like,
so, you know, with him out, now she's the top dog.
She's the top dog. Right, Dad?
Okay.
Who's the one that can rob the bank tonight? Not Danny.
Danny's dead.
Danny's dead.
Danny ain't coming home, Dad. Danny ain't coming home.
And her ex-boyfriend that she go, again, what do you do when you get out of prison? You shouldn't rob. Okay. Right? You shouldn't do that right away. And you shouldn't go like accost your ex-boyfriend, who we don't even know at this point is the reason she went to prison.
Yes. However, is there a reason why the weapon of choice she chooses was a toothbrush that she shanked and made into like a shank?
It was a shiv.
Okay, I mean, like, again, she's out of prison. She's clearly can get anything she wants because she stole everything. You couldn't grab a knife from the hotel. Like, you can't. There's no knives. She. And first of all, how'd she walk out with a shank from prison, or did she make that in a hotel?
She probably made that in the hotel. Yeah.
You know what? That'd be a funny scene because I would hope they didn't let her leave with that from prison. Where'd she put it on her dress? I guess she could have slipped it in somewhere. But no, that'd be funny in the hotel room. Shh.
Yeah, but I mean, well, you know, it's funny. There was a Woody Allen movie. It was called "Take the Money and Run," and he was in prison, and he makes a gun out of soap, and so and he painted it with shoe polish. So when he's trying to escape prison, he goes to the guard, but it's raining outside. So at first he puts the gun up, and the guards and then all of a sudden they turn back the camera, and it's like all suds around his hand from the soap. It's a pretty funny movie. Yeah, you can see it. So, well, yeah, but why? I mean, really, that's a prison weapon that she brings out. That's the best thing that she could have. Like, again, they had to show her she's such a badass that she still uses shanks.
She was thinking about that for 5 years. She was like, I know what I'm going to use. I'm going to use
so stupid.
One of my homemades.
The old toothbrush.
Yes, the 5 years made her so hard from prison that she just, I'm surprised that she didn't come out with tattoos and everything.
I don't know if you noticed, but it did say New Jersey prison on the building that she came out of. So she learned some things in there, I bet.
Oh, it makes sense. That makes sense. Oh my God, the woman's prison by me. The woman's prison that the woman escaped from like 3 years ago and ran around in the neighborhoods. Yeah.
Because she says to the girl, she's like, I have $45. I can go wherever I want. And she goes like 45 minutes east to New York.
Why does she only have $45? I mean, she was dressed in like such a big gown. She obviously
had left.
So
they probably
she only had
seized all her
$45.
Yeah,
so she could have sold that watch for like $150.
She was talking about the officer still making a deal about cigarettes or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was planning. She's clearly
like,
made money in prison.
You better trade him and not smoke him, she said.
Yeah.
And
she's saying it out loud. Like you have other officers there, cameras and everything, and she's still talking about doing deals out in the open like that.
The guard next to her is like, "What'd you say?"
Yeah. And so she does everything out in the open. Everything in this movie is out in the open.
Yeah.
Yes, especially the fact that she dreamed of doing this heist at the Met Gala, which we'll get to soon. And you think, wouldn't it be funny if she pulled off that heist, everything was amazing, and then she gets a knock on her door, and it's for the cigarette trade that she's doing at the prison. That's probably making her nothing, maybe a few $100.
Right.
An alternate ending. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, did you notice the main guy in this, the boyfriend, who's probably the only male character that we know name of, right? Everybody else is like the security guard, the insurance guy. He's the only guy, and he's in all the Harlan Coben Netflix series, those British murder mysteries.
Yeah,
he's like the main character in 3 of them. I never seen this guy before, and then I know I saw this movie when it came out, but when I turned it on, I'm like, oh my God, look at this guy.
Honestly,
when it came out. Wait, you saw this movie when it came out?
Oh, I'm sure I did. Yeah, 2018.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Okay. All right.
When I saw that guy, I'm like, oh wow, they de-aged Hugh Jackman. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I can see that.
I thought that's who it was. And then I had to look it up just to make sure that it was someone another person. And I was like, oh, cool. He looks like Hugh Jackman.
I did write down Debbie and Lou used to date.
Okay, see, we were talking about it before. It seemed like
there's a chemistry.
No, I know
chemistry.
but yeah, I know. But did they say anything like that? Or maybe when
There
they were
was-
talking like we
there
were
was-
together, maybe they meant like heist.
She was in prison for 5
They
years,
were-
so maybe
there
they
was-
had a little thing on the visiting rooms.
Oh, conjugal
do they have
visits,
that?
Okay.
Do
I've
they
seen
have,
Orange is the
visiting
New
rooms?
Black. I know how it works.
Oh,
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
But
So-
there was like
okay,
a
so-
like a scene too when she's like feeding her, with a fork. She's like, open up.
No,
you're
they had a
hungry.
very
And I'm like,
close
oh,
relationship.
I'm like, there's
So-
something there.
Very flirty.
No,
yeah.
they had a very close relationship. So, okay, so she goes to a ex-boyfriend. One, all he had to do is tell a police officer that she came up with a knife and she'd be back in prison in 2 seconds. Like, he stayed silent with that. She threatened him.
Well, I think he's probably doing that because he screwed her.
No, he did.
So maybe
but
he knows that if I mess with her, she'll mess with me even more. But yeah,
who's gonna believe her? She's already in prison for the crime. So like,
that's true.
So what? She's gonna like. So I mean, he easily could have said something. He didn't. I mean, so shame on him. He deserves what he gets in this movie. Whatever. But the
Maybe
fact
he
also
thought they
is,
could have
like,
worked something. Maybe he thought they could have worked it out. Be like,
Yeah, I don't
listen,
think so.
maybe there's a spark.
the
There's a
fact
spark
that she's
there.
doing this in front of people too. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
she was
was
gonna
a little
shiv
ridiculous.
him. She doesn't love him.
in his own art
Yeah.
gallery. That's pretty great.
Oh
yeah,
my
that's
gosh.
pretty ballsy.
Ridiculous.
So then from there is when we meet Daphne Kluger for the first time, played by the amazing Anne Hathaway. And she is, after she reveals to Debbie, that she wants to, who the hell names their kids Danny and Debbie? What are we doing here? But once they figure out, hey, I want to do the Met Gala, that's what I want to rob, they're like starting to formulate their plan. First thing is like talking about Daphne Kluger in order to like use her because she's sort of like a ditzy airhead, the character that she plays. And then we get an actress that I never think I would see her in non-Tim Burton movies.
Okay. She's the best part in the movie. So
Yeah.
like,
Oh, no, she's phenomenal. I love her.
And you know what? She's literally a walking Tim Burton character. Like in everything
I
she
know.
does, even if it's not a Tim Burton movie, like in this movie, she's a Tim Burton character. Like she's
Yeah,
she's to me.
HBC crushes. Yeah,
Oh, she's the best. I think she was my favorite part of the movie. If I could find a favorite part, it was just all the scenes that she's in. She's just such a good actress. Like she really is.
And she is a big part of the movie.
Oh, she is.
Like you think about her character, like her parts
absolutely.
with she has more one-on-one scenes with Anne Hathaway than anyone else, and it's like
100%.
it's such a big part.
You know what? She almost has more screen time than Sandra Bullock. I mean, like because she's the main like really. I mean, and you talk about like a versatile actress. Like you take all her roles. I mean, she's done. I mean, even Fight Club. Like I mean,
Fight
like
Club,
such
yeah.
a different type of role. Like she's just really good. So yeah, so I did like her, and I thought she was very funny. Like she was good. But then I also, when we see Mindy Kaling, I wrote down yuck. The word was yuck
man.
afterwards. So I just want to say,
wasn't bad. She wasn't too bad.
she plays the same role. It's a whiny, like, he doesn't like me to teach how to do a swipe on the phone. Like, I mean, just so stupid. I just
Maybe because I never watched The Office. It's probably
What?
like I'm like
Why
I don't mind.
What? How did
Yeah.
you never watch The Office?
Yeah, The Office is amazing. First of all,
That's
But
weird.
Even on the, even
I've
on
always
The
been a
Office-
Parks and Rec guy.
two
That's
different
weird to
shows.
choose sides. Just
Yeah.
watch both.
I
Yeah,
know
I know.
one is funny and one is not really that.
But you never watched the other one, so you can't say it's not funny.
Yeah,
I watch clips and I'm like, okay, this is,
That's
this is
not a
dumb.
thing.
that's
Because there could be like inside jokes with it. It's like if you never watched Seinfeld and saw like a clip of
It's
something.
one of the
like,
top
No.
five.
out of the contest, you'd be like, "Oh, I don't know what contest. I don't know what this is."
It's one of the
It's
top
all
five
episodes.
probably sitcoms, of all time. Like, it's up there all the time in ranking. So, but Mindy,
Crazy.
she on that show, she's boyfriend crazy. She's always looking for dates, and in the movie, she's the one looking for like why
She's on
Like,
Tinder.
Why is it always? Oh my
on
god,
Tinder.
it just doesn't. And what? She's never heard of Tinder before. That she has to be.
Right.
She needs instructions.
Yeah.
Oh, well, now you got to swipe right. Oh, we matched. What do I do now? Like, it's just so stupid. Like, I can't stand her. Like, I just so dumb. All right.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was a
So-
really funny scene. Yeah,
Wait, that was funny.
So-
Aquafina literally teaches her how to use Tinder.
That's so stupid.
So back to HBC, like the best part about her character, I love that Nick used that acronym for her, that she's terrible. Like she's at this point of her career. She's on the
washed up,
down. Yeah. And it's just so crazy how they were like, how can we get her? And it's like, oh, well, she owes $18 million to the IRS. And then I'm like, in my head right away, I'm like, dude, they're going to each make $18 million on this heist. Like, I know obviously it'd be great for her to make $18 million, pay back the IRS, you know, but it's like to risk it all. Yeah, I'm eventually going to pay them back. But it was just,
the risk for some, like even later on, why some, like one of the, Anne Hathaway, like why would, she's the top actress in Hollywood, obviously, because she's the one everybody's focusing on. She's going to risk everything. She's already probably making $1 million a movie, like, you know, whatever. I mean, like she's making good money. Why would she risk everything too? Like, it's like, so like the risk that, I mean, I get, you know, Awkwafina,
she explains later on why she's doing it.
Yeah, her explanation is not good enough. That's a stupid explanation.
She has no friends.
She has no
She
friends.
doesn't want to do book clubs.
Okay,
She
you know
thought
what?
it'd be,
Go to
fun
prison, you'll make a lot of friends.
I know.
So, you know.
Honestly, with her though, she could be like, well, I was researching a role. I'm in like a bank heist movie, and I was researching, I don't know, a character.
So dumb. Again, I can see Awkwafina. She's doing 3-card money. She's already doing something illegal anyway, so it doesn't make a difference, you know. But I don't know.
She can't afford a Metro card.
Well, even Mindy, even she's not a criminal. She's working. You know, she lives with her mom. You know, like so she's doing it to get away from her mom.
I think she's done jobs with her.
They have, but I can't.
Yeah.
Nothing major. You know, like they all have like a good life now. Even what's her name, Sarah Paul, and
Sarah
I like
Paulson,
her too.
yeah,
She's
great.
Sarah Paulson,
she's great.
yeah.
Too. You know, and she almost
That's
like
so
an odd
funny.
choice in this group of people. Like I would never expect her because you don't see her too many in movies. And like, you know, I'm glad they did because she's a good actress too. So, but
Yeah.
she's got a family and a young child. She's gonna risk everything for that too. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Honestly, I could see like Gwyneth Paltrow in that role, like the Sarah Paulson role.
Yeah, sort of. Like
No.
she can seem like
Like
the
a
normal, like everything's
the,
fine,
like,
but look at my garage.
suburban
that's filled with
housewife,
stolen
but she's
products.
it looks like a fucking Target in her garage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was unsure what she did for like. Why did she have all that stuff in her garage?
She was a fence. She was fencing that people stole that stuff and she's like distributing it. Like she's at the seller.
So she's still doing criminal stuff.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay,
Even
I
though-
wasn't I didn't understand what a fence was. I'm glad you know. So apparently you have the inside scoop on fencing.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
So those are the things that fall. So in Jersey we say those are the things that fall off the truck.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
All right. Okay.
I know. I got a guy that knows a guy. You know.
Got a guy that knows a guy.
Yeah, okay.
So Jamie's mentioning Minnie Kaling a bunch. We meet her character. We meet her. She's ripping into a customer, and then she sees through her diamond
gosh.
scope.
was
She
dumb.
sees Debbie Ocean. She gets picked to join the team. Then we meet Nine Ball.
8 Ball.
She was
No, it's Nine Ball.
Yeah, dude.
I know.
She was funny.
I just
No, but then she said, "What's your real name?" And she
What's
said,
her?
8 Ball.
She says 8 Ball.
Yeah.
But then you find
Yeah,
out
but
later on
isn't it like Teresa or something like that, or like
Leslie.
Leslie?
Leslie. Yeah.
Okay, let's be honest. She does not look like a Leslie.
No.
Okay, so there's no way her name is Leslie.
But
She
was
should have
great in
said her
this
name
movie.
was Rianne.
But she was solid in this movie, and she really
Yeah,
went
she
to
was
like her
great.
roots, like the accent, like when they step aside, and Debbie's like, "What the hell is she doing here?" She's like, "Man, she's the one that we need." And so Lou says, and then she's like smoking a ginormous split, like and
Yes, but
hacking.
Okay. So let's talk about her as a person and her skills. Okay, which are ridiculous. Like, first of all, what does she do for a living? Like, where'd they find her? I don't remember. Does anyone know?
No, they didn't. I think Lou knew her. I don't think it was like one
Yeah,
of
she
those
said she's the
random
greatest
things,
hacker
yeah.
on the East
Okay.
Coast.
No, but I don't think she knew her. I think she had to find, like, she was looking at the list of hackers and she picked this one or something like that.
From the Villain
but-
Network, yeah.
Okay, to the skills that she has, she should be working for NASA. Like, why is she like? I mean, seriously, like, in
NASA don't pay
seconds-
that well.
But in seconds, she's playing with the lights in the house. Like, that's
I know, that's pretty
impossible.
scary.
That's impossible. Like, she's that good that she's able to, throughout this movie, tap in probably one of the highest security things, systems she's able to tap in from a laptop.
Well, obviously it runs in the family because her sister's a badass too.
And she's what,
yeah.
10? Oh, wait. And she's like 10, and she figured out how to do this necklace thing. So stupid.
On the train over, on the New Jersey transit over.
And she had a magnet in her hand, so she already had something that would look like.
So she's a magnet expert. Okay, so I didn't know they had magnet experts out there. I mean, it's
magnets are all the thing.
That got me so
now.
angry. Oh my gosh. She's 10.
Maybe she went to a magnet school.
Oh my gosh, it's dumb. It really is. She's 10 years old and she figured it out.
She's a genius, JB. She's a freaking genius.
Clearly, I mean, why couldn't it be like one of her other hacker friends? Like that would have been better. A 10-year-old. From a picture, she figured it out.
She's good. Yeah, that was weird. The whole picture thing, like just looking at the way they move it, how could you see what's going on inside? Oh yeah, it's a reverse. Yeah, you do it in reverse, and it's a gravity. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wait, was that more ridiculous than the glasses that could basically just replicate everything that they see?
Scanning?
The Mission Impossible glasses, yeah.
Yeah.
See,
those are pretty ridiculous. And the way she looks around and it's changing and it's highlighting in blue.
That was really funny. That was really funny. That was really funny.
Yeah.
And she's like banging her head. I wonder how many takes they had to do of.
Was it her that was doing? Oh yeah, you're right.
It was HBC was like banging the glass. I'm like, how many takes did she have to do where she just had to like do it again? She's like,
just where are they getting those glasses from? Like where are they getting that high technology from?
Sharper Image.
Maybe made it.
Oh, okay.
Sharper Image. Yes. Radio Shack. Maybe there's a few Radio Shacks.
I mean, you're talking about that's CIA like equipment. Now, again, Mission Impossible. There's no way these criminals have access to that like scope of technology.
Well, criminals get access to that. They get all the best. Okay. Like
what criminal?
Yeah.
They're not even like they're not big criminals. First of all, they don't even know each other. There's like two people that know each other. There's no way she has access to that.
They have some pretty good resources.
Aquafina might have.
It's called networking, Jamie. We're networking.
She lives on the street. Aquafina. You think she has access to that? If she had access to that, she'd be using it more than playing 3-card Monte.
Maybe funny was somebody was selling on the street. They were selling the New York. Welcome to I love New York caps. And on the other hand, $5,000 3D scanning glasses.
So dumb.
So silly. So then we get Dakota. They use Dakota Fannings in this movie as another actress within the movie. And she meets with HBC, and they're basically using that to get a photo to go out to the press saying, oh, my God, she's meeting with...
Wait, that was Dakota Fanning?
Yeah.
She looked familiar. I was like, wait, is that Elle Fanning? I was like, oh, no, it's Dakota Fanning.
Wait, wow, that's crazy. What was this? Because I don't remember seeing her at all.
At the restaurant where
she met her at the booth.
Yeah,
that was Dakota Fanning.
So they set it up, and Rose Wheeler, right? That's HBC's name. It was like,
Rose Wheeler.
Just get a picture and hand her this, and then they took the picture, and that's where like Daphne got like jealous and like, oh my God, why have I not met with her? Have I not met with her? Oh, you said she's drab. Oh, well, that was last week, and then what's her name? I don't know why they're doing that. Like they knew that. If they blew bubbles on the outside of the window that distracted Rose, that would make Daphne the boy next door.
Okay, I didn't see a bubbles there. Okay, I missed that scene. Okay,
but the fact that they did that to distract her, and that would make Daphne say, "You're hired." Like somebody ignores you, you're gonna hire. Like that is, she's out of the game. She hasn't really had a dress in the Met Gala in years.
And she's so high up in Hollywood that there's no one bigger than that. Like she's getting that jealous that she can't.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I mean, listen, the Met is one of the most ridiculous events of the year. Like the stuff that people wear there is just so over the top. But I'm sure she could have had, if she's able to get access to the necklace, she could have had access to any designer.
Especially after she just flopped her last fashion show with like the TWA like outfits.
Yeah, but she may not know that. She may not know that though. Like but still, like she was washed up, and that's what she said. So
yeah,
the fact that just because she's gonna risk going with a washed up designer just because she's jealous
to like one of the biggest fashion events of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, she lives her life in a crazy like that. Yeah, Nick, exactly. Like this is a huge thing. You look like trash. You could be like famous
You're done.
just for this terrible moment. And then like at the end of the movie, the twist that we mentioned earlier, she like joins in on this heist. And it's like, whoa, you're throwing away
Dumb.
what could your life?
Her career, her life. Again,
Yeah.
I'm sure she, I don't know how much she's making a movie. I'm sure she's making good money if she's the number one in Hollywood. I don't think she'd throw that away. It made no sense. At first, I thought she was setting them up. I thought she was setting them up, like, because she got caught, so they, she kind of was wearing a wire or something. But no, she's joining them because it's that easy just to join a group of criminals.
Because she needs friends. She needs something to do.
She has no friends, man.
Yeah.
But clubs are
So I guess criminal friends are better than no friends. So okay.
Yeah,
that's true.
She's hanging out. I mean, she's hanging out with Katie Holmes, but
So it's okay. So what if they were a group of like axe murderers, but she had no friends? Like, would she join them just because I don't have any friends and let me just start swinging an axe and help start killing?
just wait for that all-female American Psycho remake.
Well, they already have a female American Psycho.
That's
do,
right.
yeah,
Mila
Mila
Kunis.
So, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Ugh.
So the next person that we meet to join the merry heisters is Aquafina doing the 3-card Monty in the park, and she's so good. Like, I love sleight of hand when like real magicians do it. Obviously in film they can do camera tricks and cut the shots, but they still are so amazing. Like, she's like, it's okay, man. Good luck. You did great. Takes his watch. And then even like when she's ordering the Subway sandwich, right? That was so funny that while she's doing that and getting convinced to do this job with them, she steals both their watches.
They made this movie that every character has the skills that they have can't control it, and they have to constantly use the skills that they
They're
have.
addicted all the
throughout whole
time.
movie.
Yeah, that's
all
funny.
of them. And really, and that's what they do. Like, I mean, again, she can't help herself. She's constantly, trying to steal something. Same thing with Sandra Bullock. Rihanna's on the computer the entire movie, on a laptop the whole time. It's just weird. Like, it's like they have to force to the audience. These are skilled, at what they do, and this is their team.
Yeah, they really got to drive it home. Like that.
They
They know what they're doing. They really know what they're doing.
And again, you're talking about 5 women who don't know each other outside of maybe 2 of them. Obviously, 2 of them know each other.
Very well.
And in a month, they're able to gel that well and put the crime of the century together.
Right.
Because I mean, when you find out what else they did, it's the crime of the century.
Yeah.
There's the amount of money that so like it's ridiculous. It's just so dumb.
She said,
Jamie,
"Eat
you're
that,
talking about
Danny."
like movies that we'd want. How about a movie like exactly what you just said, like to the ridiculous, over the top? Like, let's say Aquafina goes, or the magician in the movie is going to pay. Oh, here's my money for the Subway sub, and the guy cashier 5, 6, and he's like going to put it in the drawer. It's out of his hands. Like, everything's a magic trick. Like, everything's like a man.
It's always that like one friend that sometimes they do movies that like it's like they're so annoying that he just can't stop doing like jokes or like magic, but yeah, I mean, like, first of all, why didn't she try to get some of George Clooney's friends, the criminal people?
Well,
that
do you remember
obviously
why?
were,
That's my next line that's written down. Him gets noticed, and a her gets ignored.
Well,
And
clearly they don't get
we
noticed
wanna
because
get
they did it.
ignored.
Okay, how many movies did they make? 3? Oceans?
Yeah, but they always get noticed, and
Yeah,
but then they get Andy
and
Garcia
they
to
pull
do
off
them.
every crime every single time.
I know, but
So,
somebody
I mean-
that's good always turns bad in the next movie.
Every time. It's just ridiculous. And they're always fine. Okay, first of all, they pull off pretty big crimes, so they're pretty famous, and again, she's got to be like, there's no way that like the police or FBI are not tailing her, seeing what she's doing right from prison, knowing who her brother is, so I'm like, again, that would be something I would assume for like a big criminal like this. FBI just right away, just figure out like, all right, what is she up to? Is she going back to her old ways, kind of thing?
Oh yeah,
So
Yeah,
she
they
had
would have
to.
definitely
We
kept
didn't
a
get to see
better
her
eye on
checking
her.
in with her
Yeah.
parole
Yep.
officer.
No, she probably made a deal with him too, so that's why.
That's true. Because they
Shut
usually
up.
check in sometimes, like, well, like, hey, what's your living conditions? You just got out of prison for
course.
5 years. Where are you going? Like, they don't let you out unless you have a place to go, I'm sure. And like,
He comes
oh,
around-
are you gonna look for work? Get a job?
Yeah.
How much did she steal to go to prison? Do you remember? Like what?
Well, no,
Well, it
wasn't
was-
the number $500,000?
Yeah,
so-
when
okay.
she passed the envelope.
Okay, so it was only
Yeah.
$500,000. Okay, so
Only,
like,
that's it.
all right. Well, yeah, but I mean, like, if it was, I would assume, like, like a much bigger amount. They're gonna say, all right, we need to watch this person. 500,000. I mean, it's still a lot, but maybe they're like, all right, maybe it was like a one-time.
But maybe from that they found out. I don't know. They didn't mention that if like that was the straw that broke the camel's back, and like all the other crimes, because they could like
They
seize
might have had
all of her other
correct.
assets.
They
'cause
might have
she
had
robbed
like a
before
whole
that.
lineup. Correct.
And
Okay.
they found out who her brother was, so they were like, "Oh shit, this."
Okay, so that proves my point that without a doubt, the FBI should be tailing her, for the first week or two, just seeing what she's up to. Is she meeting old acquaintances? What is she doing? And there's none of that. Like, she literally is able to walk around everywhere, somehow get access to every place that she needs to go to very easily. The older,
Yeah.
like
And
it's
you know why else
But-
they should be looking after her? Do you remember what her first crime was?
I do not.
A bingo.
Making this movie?
No, the
Oh yeah, the.
the bingo game. They were cheating old people in bingo games, and they were making what was it? $100 was it? Oh no, $1,000 a day in bingo scams. Like they would somehow figure out how
my
they could
gosh. And from there, her crime career took off.
I might have
win.
to
Well,
look into
yeah, it was
this.
Debbie and Lou together.
You've basically admitted to 2 crimes that you want to commit in the in the near future. So I mean, there's a second crime you want to commit. So I'm just saying,
Yeah.
if we have any cops that are listening, I would definitely scan your house for any kind of taps.
Try to pin
Yeah,
it
and I
on
would
me.
think
Come on.
anytime somebody under 50 goes to a bingo hall, they're already watching. Who's this youngin coming in trying to take my hard-earned money? It's like somebody that's 49.
Maybe he's looking for a cougar.
Maybe that's true.
All right.
So
Okay.
so now now Tammy, played by Sarah Paulson, joins the game. We talked about her. She's like, still stealing stuff, and she lies to her husband and said it's like the people with spouses in this movie. She's the only one, but just the fact that she's like, yeah,
Wait,
tell him I
hold
get
on,
off
you said the
eBay.
people with spouses. Well, she's the only one.
Yeah. Because I was trying to think of who else. Nobody else has a spouse. Out of
No.
the
I
whole-
know, but it's the way you
Yeah.
said it. Like, there's multiple people that have spouses, but actually, she's the only one. So really,
Yeah.
the
No,
only
no,
person that has
I-
a spouse.
I ran through it real quick in my head. I'm like, I know nobody else is with anyone. But the fact that she's able to disappear essentially for like 2 or 3 weeks, because it's 3
Her
weeks.
son
the
is
other,
so
but who
funny,
knows? She
though.
might have won.
Her
Yeah.
son is so funny. Where are you
I
going?
mean, the questions
What
he
are you
asks.
gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean,
Can I come with you? No.
This is mommy's work.
yeah. I mean, the husband's not working. What are they doing with the kid? I mean, like, and they're not questioning that she's been gone for a month.
And that
Like,
her
yeah.
garage is filled with a Target.
Oh, well, that I mean, I
Yeah. And
well,
multiple
she does live
of
in a
the same
nice.
thing.
She does live in a nice house, so you have to accept what mommy does.
She's got like 35 air fryers in that thing. Like
She did.
Maybe she works for a Pampered Chef.
maybe.
Maybe she
that
does. Yeah.
Does that explain the mountain bikes that are hanging on the wall though?
Yeah. eBay, honey. What does that mean? All you do is say eBay, honey. That doesn't mean anything. eBay. It's like, no. I need answers, words. How are you paying for this? There's no charges on our cards. And then at this point, because this is how I am when it comes to movies, like, oh, Ocean's 8. What does that mean? There's going to be 8 people. So at this point, I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So like, I knew that it was Anne Hathaway at this point, because who else would be the other person?
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about the title. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. That's so dumb. Now I'm even more angry, because you don't even reveal that until the end of the movie. So the title is at the end of the movie. That's the big reveal. Is the end of the movie? That's stupid.
I was
It's like
really
Sixth
hoping.
Sense,
I was really hoping it was going to be
kind of a
Serena
spoiler
Williams.
title.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, that'd have been good. Or Kendall Jenner, right? Kylie, Kim
Well,
Kardashian.
Kim was there. Taylor Swift was
Heidi
mentioned.
Klum? Heidi
Katie
Klum
Holmes.
actually was.
Katie Holmes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it at the Met, I mean, it does bring everybody to there. It's like the big deal. But you also would think that because there's so many celebrities there, that the security would be so much stronger than what it was there.
They're idiots. They're absolute idiots.
Okay, so considering they hired Awkwafina, Sarah Paulson, and what's her name?
Minnie
Mindy
Kaling.
Kaling?
Yeah, no, look, and Mindy Kaling. Okay, they hired 4 people, brand new people, within a month of the most highly security place because of all these celebrities. They're just going to randomly hire 4 people. You know,
that's a plot hole.
And Sarah Paulson had like a major job.
She was running. She was basically
She was
running the gala.
So
She couldn't even say
gala.
She couldn't even say gala at the interview. She didn't know it was gala. She was like, a gala?
Okay,
And she's like, you mean a gala?
Hold on a second. So we discussed that this is taking place for a month. This movie from walking out of the prison to okay. It takes a little while to travel and pick up all these people, right? To gather them together. So let's
Like
say
the Muppet movie, yes.
the Muppet movie.
They're all in the tri-state, though.
Okay. No, Mindy wasn't. I don't think.
Oh, where was Mindy? She was in New York.
I thought she was like in another country.
What?
She was surrounded by.
She saw.
What?
She saw Sandra Bullock in her little magnifying thing and went out to go talk
but
to
I
her.
thought she traveled to her country. I didn't know. All right. Anyway,
she saw.
that's what I thought she was. I thought she was in India. I didn't know. Okay. Anyway,
That's a really good microscope that she's got on her little eye.
excuse me. They have glasses that can completely, do everything else. So why can't? I thought Sandra Bullock visited her there. That's what I thought. Anyway,
Okay.
anyway.
That's
All
like
right.
3 days lost. Plus, you're gonna get like an
I
illness
know.
probably,
Well,
and you're not gonna come
okay,
back.
so fine. They're all in the tri-state area, which I still
there you
don't
go.
think so. I think there's further. I think it's further, but I don't
Sarah
think
Paulson's
it's
in the suburbs. She's like in like Short Hills or something. I don't know.
I still think they're spread out, but regardless. So you have the roundup, then you have the planning and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me Sarah Paulson interviews for a job, a major job for a major function that's watched, by all these big celebrities, and she gets hired and is given the job right away, the big job. And what kind of resume does she have that she was given this job?
She had really
And
great
that was
references.
legit enough to get. Yeah, no, she must, because they mentioned like, oh, you're overqualified. But one thing they never mentioned, or maybe I stepped out of the room, but did they talk about why the other person from Vogue why the position was open? It was like, oh, she suddenly quit or she suddenly got sick. So they didn't mention that at all. It was
I missed that
wait,
part.
you're telling me part of this plan? Well, just the fact that there's a job opening 3 weeks before the biggest thing, and it was was like planning the chairman's dinner.
Okay.
And at that point, she's probably there. She probably doesn't get that job right away. Maybe like a weekend. And at that point, that's when she takes pictures of the tables and they move around like the way they figure out where everybody's gonna be sitting to plan everything. But if she never got that job, they don't do anything.
Okay, hold on a second. So she gets hired. So first of all, you would put your best person for this job. Again, this is seen by every rich, big person in Hollywood. Like, it really is a big deal. You're going to put a brand new person. Oh, and the skinny ones. And the skinny ones. You're going to put a brand new person there that, one, like you said, couldn't even say gala. Say gala.
Yeah.
You're going to put a brand new person into this role, like, to run it when you don't even, like, I don't know. And I'm assuming there were no other jobs beforehand, because she was always at the warehouse with everybody. So you're telling me her first gig is the big one.
She interviews very well. Yeah, she's
okay. So stupid.
Oh, and remember what happened? Anna Winter wouldn't say anything because I guess she was so stressed out that they didn't have anyone. She just went.
No, she was watching tennis.
Oh, is that what she? And then she
was
hired.
watching.
That's how you get hired.
The voiceover was like, "Oh, Roger Federer with the backhand," and she's like, "Oh, I can't really be bothered with the interview right now. Just go ahead and take it because I got to watch Federer."
It's on her, man. She falls on this sword. This all happened because of her laziness.
She should have been the 8th person.
Ugh.
No,
There shouldn't have been there shouldn't be anyone. They shouldn't the more I hated the movie when we started this, and I'm starting to hate it even more as we go through it. I have to be honest. Like I'm telling you, there's only certain movies that I had a hard time watching through these couple of years that we've been doing this. This is one of them, which is I do find amazing based on it, because we're putting Mirror Mirror, that was also hard to watch, and some other movies, but I am putting it up there that it really was challenging to get through.
You're putting this in the same category as Mirror 3?
No. I'm saying that there's only a certain amount of movies that are hard. There are movies that fly through. Like, I mean, we just watched the Hulk and the Substitute, like 2, right? And it wasn't a great movie, but it wasn't difficult to get through. Mm-hmm. This movie was challenging just because it was just so ridiculous, and I really found it challenging. Anyway, go ahead.
Not for me. I enjoyed it. Of course you did. So the next part, I love that they made like a training video, like Lou and Debbie. Okay. They made like a training video, and then at the end, they were able to hit a thing on the PowerPoint, and it said like each person's gonna hit $16.5 million.
Okay. They also made a model of the entire building layout.
Flawless. Yeah.
How'd they do that? What blueprints did they use to have the entire
they should be
building?
Are they public knowledge or no? You can't go.
Maybe it was
they had every section of the building. First of all, where'd they get it from?
Rihanna, got it.
Oh my god.
They had a 3D printer. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
No, they didn't have the 3D printer yet. They didn't have it yet.
Oh, they didn't have that yet.
Oh,
they got that Sarah Paulson when she was on the phone with her son.
That's right.
She got that delivered, and then they were able. Yeah.
So they ordered this model of the blueprint of the Met, where the Met was, and they put it together with blue and everything else.
It's probably a callback to Ocean's 11 when they made the big fault. Like,
oh, shocker! They went back to the Ocean's 11 for another scene. Oh, you're right. Okay.
Rihanna got another lonely guy to click on a dog email.
Oh my god!
Where she was able to see him and steal everything.
Wait, who's?
Oh my god, that guy was so funny.
And he's a high security guy too, right?
Yeah,
I mean, like that. Okay.
He loves his Wheaton Terriers, man. You can't take that away from him.
A little obsessive.
A little bit
weird.
A little bit too much. Yeah.
But you're talking about another high security guy. You're doing the interviewing. You're high. You need like good security people, and you can't see that this guy's off. Like there's something off on him. Like I mean,
he's got nothing but dog pictures on his bulletin board, and
it's another thing. If he wasn't into dogs like that, the everything had to line up perfectly, right? If they couldn't do this wouldn't have the thing wouldn't have worked. The plan wouldn't have worked. But they happen to have a guy that loves dogs.
It's called research.
Heist movies are always like I never thought about a heist movie like this, but they're like a Rube Goldberg. Like it has to be perfect.
Everything has to line up. No, it's 100%. But of course, everything does line up perfectly. I mean, okay. Yeah. For instance, and I don't care if I'm jumping. So the whole security when they go to the bathroom. You're gonna tell me there's no female security guard that's gonna go in there with her?
Oh,
because they're gonna leave. So but they assumed it's a female bathroom. They're not gonna go in there. Everything they planned, which is everything that should not really happen, really happened.
Yeah. And the fact that Debbie Ocean's outside the door speaking German, wouldn't somebody there maybe be like, "Oh shit, that's Debbie Ocean"?
Okay.
Like she should be known, I would think.
Well, she did dye her hair, so.
Oh, okay, that's true. Yeah, that's true. So stupid.
Who's that lady with that terrible German accent outside the bathroom that won't leave?
Heidi Klum?
And she was talking, out loud. Wasn't she talking out loud in the bathroom? And someone else walked out of the bathroom stall. Like there was a point where she's pointing, looking in the mirror, and she was talking out loud about what she's doing. Like it just okay. All right.
Yeah, it was silly.
Right.
So now Rose is at Cartier, and again. I'm not saying this is the greatest movie ever. There's so many silly parts, and I think that's what makes it great when we discuss these. Because even the part that they go to see the Toussaint, it's her and Mindy Kaling, and Mindy's there because she's like the jewelry expert. And so Rose, the guy says, no, we won't use that. Oh, that's all she wants, the Toussaint. No, the security, the insurance. Oh, it's going to be so much money. We can't do it. She starts speaking French. And what a ridiculous thing. Oh, then the French will know what beauty they have instead of just sitting in a vault for another 50 years. And the guy goes, okay. Like what? Like they have to insure it. Like what is
just that
do?
easy? It's just that easy. It's ridiculous. I mean, first of all, I don't even think they would let her, get that close without doing some kind of background check on both of them or something.
Oh yeah.
And Mindy wasn't even. I mean, at least she was somebody. She's a designer and everything else. But Mindy was a nobody.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna allow someone to come down there, and so dumb.
And then she needs to see it in the light. She needs to really get a good look at it.
Well, that wasn't that was before.
So crazy.
No, it was coming up. But I mean, that wasn't
right
suspicious.
Here,
yeah. I mean, I mean, again, she does a great job of how she's always nervous throughout everything she does, and she again, I think they make her so kooky, in everything she does, and she plays that kooky role so well.
Yeah.
But they're gonna bring it upstairs because she needs to see it in the sunlight. Which was there sunlight up there when they went up there? No.
Well, I guess the window. It was so stupid to be like, I'm designing a dress based on the way the sun hits this. So
this is $150 million jewelry. I don't think the sun's gonna make a difference.
Which is so silly.
Yeah. Okay.
And the idea of oh, did you know Cartier let this actress for 100? Oh, that's great. It's like, well, I can't buy that or anything close to that. Oh, you can get a little tiny one for $2,000.
Or how about the fact that when they we're not there yet anyway, but when she puts it on and the guy's explaining how the lock works.
Oh, the magnet.
You're gonna talk about. Oh yeah, well this is how you really if you want to unlock it, you got to get a magnet to go. Special magnet. Really it's just okay.
Oh, it works like this. See, can we do that again?
Oh, so stupid.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk you through how you do it, but you can't touch the necklace. Oh, you can't touch it. Here's the only way you can touch it. Watch. Oh, can you do that again? That's so fascinating. He does it in slow-mo for her.
In reality, these celebrities do borrow jewelry and they wear stuff. I find that I would be so nervous if I had if you're borrowing a $50 million or whatever, something, and you're wearing it to I would not want to be responsible. I would not want to wear it. I don't even like wearing my own jewelry that costs $100. Let alone wearing something it's just the fact that these celebrities have no fear of what they're, crazy.
That's why you always take the insurance.
Anything.
Still,
what would the insurance be on 100? Is that worth it for Cartier? The insurance, the security team, those guys have to cost at least $5-10 grand for their services for the night.
And isn't that kind of weird that they didn't have insurance for it because they said we need some crazy insurance, and somehow within 2 days of letting it out, they're already looking like they're gonna have to get paid on the insurance.
Oh, the insurance company would be like, "Oh, really fishy guys? You guys
really
years? And they get stolen? Okay, pay up."
And honestly, it almost felt like they weren't even looking at Anne Hathaway as a guilty person.
Yeah,
who was the only one wearing it. That made no sense.
She's
they
a
were
great
listening
actress.
to her.
She's a really great actress.
Sure.
She sold it. Really well.
Oh yeah, sure.
They were looking at
she
Hugh
does.
Jackman.
When you do find out, if you look at the movie and you think, oh, and you didn't guess that she was the eighth person or involved, then it is a great twist because, she is pretty believable in the part that she's this uppity actress who doesn't really care about anybody else, and the way everything works out. But the biggest thing, and I now that we're kind of talking about that, skipping over some parts, but I think the biggest plot hole the entire movie by far is they only have one blind spot that they create. It's by the bathroom. But how about the rest of the place? Wouldn't they have seen the jewelry get thrown into the fountain? A, and B, wouldn't they see Sarah Paulson, Tammy, take it out of her leg, off her knee and throw it into the fountain? Right? That's silly to me.
Well, they're also banking on the busboy to not throw that right, give it to someone else, or how they're everything lined up. And I also don't buy the whole guy hanging from the rafters that they were able to. No one heard anything. No one saw anything. No one. I mean, she had a remote control boat. They make noise. No one heard that going on the water. It was just ridiculous. The security there was non-existent. It really was awful security. So yeah.
Okay. Not the
That
best.
was really a
Not the
slow
best.
burn when she bought that submarine from the store, and it
I forgot
wasn't
about it.
until like an hour later that she used it. And it was like, oh, and it was like really slow, and it was like like dragging a Ziploc bag full of the necklace. But
That whole
just
sequence was so dumb. I mean, it was so over the top. Like, you know, I mean, again, funny, I guess. You know, I mean, but they've done it in so many different movies. I like it better in was it Jane Silent Bob? No, what's the movie when the girl farts and then like the alarm goes off?
yeah, is that Jane Silent Bob?
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, for you guys, like when you saw that scene and they were like, oh, let's interview Daphne to figure out who stole this necklace. You guys didn't see anything? I'd be like, oh no, we didn't. But this is the Met Gala. You have everything in the world. How about we just look at the cameras? Why not think of that?
Well,
Because
I
they
kept
would have
wondering.
saw two crimes commit. One,
Yeah.
the necklace was still on her at that point, and then two, oh, this lady Tammy that just got hired at Vogue 3 weeks ago, kind of fishy. She's the one who throws it in there.
So let me ask you this: the replica that they made is the same weight as the diamonds.
It's pretty good. It's really good.
How are they getting the same weight? They're two different materials.
Yeah, I guess they. Yeah, I don't know how they would. Maybe they guestimate how much it weighs
I don't
based on
think
the
so.
carats. I don't know. I don't know if you
I
can
don't
tell by the
think so.
carats of how much something will weigh.
I don't think so. I mean, because
No, you don't think there's like a thing of a carat? Like, hey, 1 carat weighs X.
no. I think the security guard, the minute he grabbed it, should have realized this is a fake. Or even the guy at the bank when he's first looking at it, like the weight, because the first thing that she says was, "Wow, I can't believe how heavy it is." When you know, Carter, whatever, Helen LBJ, whatever you call
Oh
it.
yeah, HBC, yeah.
Yeah, HRC. So
It's catching on.
you know, like she talked about how heavy it was. So there's no way they're matching the heaviness of that with a computer
A
generated
3D printer.
I mean, yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
Can we talk about how great was that guy's reaction? Could you imagine? Just think about like your jobs that we do.
Oh,
dear
like,
God.
our careers, like
Dear
mistakes
God.
that you can make. Could you imagine that? Like,
I think it's like you got to leave the country. I think
Oh my
at that
God, yeah.
point, like you have to like because your life is probably on the line. Like
You need
150. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not making it out of there.
No.
Like yeah.
You're moving to South America and you're changing your name. You're like, you're done.
But see, okay, so that kind of like what he's feeling goes along. These women, all of them seem very calm, and like I mean, like you have to be nervous from start to finish of this entire procedure. There's no way you can stay calm the whole time, and they were all pretty calm. I mean, the fact that like everybody handed off this and this, and they walked around like they all looked so calm. And the only one that really should have been nervous was Mindy when she was in the bathroom.
I
Like,
think
that was
Rihanna
the-
smoked him out before.
Oh, man.
Rihanna,
Oh, okay. You're dealing with a major like she's a big part of this theft.
yeah.
She's gonna paint her toenails.
She
Like while
Oh my
while
got
like,
time. She got time.
no way! Like you need full concentration. Like now's the time. Like I forgot to do it this morning. Let me paint my toenails right before we do the crime of the century. Like again, dumb.
I know they're not operating or selling food that night, except the one like not drunk couple because it's not that late at night. That Cape Blanchett still makes
Makes it
them like
A gyro.
lamb. Oh yeah, dude, those are my favorite cards to go to. But the fact
God.
that
Oh, they're
like
the best. Oh, the halal
my
carts.
God,
Oh,
dude.
they're so good.
But the fact
Okay.
that she's doing it, painting her nails right where the food is, right there, like right inside there, it makes it even grosser.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's not doing that for a living, you know. But yes, that is pretty gross. But okay, and she's smoking in there, right? So you're thinking like, so you're talking. I mean, the food smells like nail polish and weed. That's what the food's
Yeah,
gonna, that's what it's gonna taste like and smell like. Okay.
But when you're that fucked up, man, you'll eat anything. You don't care. You're like,
That's true.
That is true. But again, she's got a very big part in this whole thing. Like she's controlling the cameras and all that stuff. And what painting your nails like that, like you should be fired for that.
Yeah, you're off the
she's-
team. Like
she's
at-
good, man.
At
She's
this
good.
point, what she's doing is unbelievable because this is when all in this part is when she gets the guy to click the photo, and even just before that is when Aquafina walks past the security people, the cleaning company or the janitors. She swipes the card, quickly gives it to her, Rihanna. And then the other person I thought of, I'm like, no way, dude. Like, she is way too attractive. And like, just the way for her to be a janitor. Not, hey, if you know an attractive janitor, that's equals only, let us know. But it's just one of those careers that you don't think that should be. She just looks
absolutely
makeup on and everything to Janet.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And there just happened to be a janitor's equipment there for her to grab, because if she didn't have that,
they
she's
leave it in the
walking around.
closet. There's a custodial closet at all places.
It wasn't in the closet. It was
in the hallway.
She literally
that's
walked
not
right
good.
past, and she literally grabbed it right away.
So there was another guy cleaning, and his back
Right.
was turned. So she walked right past him, was like, "Boop."
No,
Grab the cart.
100%. But that's a coincidence, because if that doesn't happen,
Yeah.
she's walking around with no equipment. They're going to question, what are you doing here? But now that she has the cart, she can, walk around and barge into like a major meeting.
Right.
I
Those
know.
guys should have thrown her out in 2 seconds. Like, there's no way she would have time to, put a bug on the garbage, which no one's watching her in there. Like,
Slick.
she was
She was
when you're
pretty
in a
slick
meeting,
about it.
Wait, yeah, okay. You're still watching. Like, it still seemed odd that you're gonna burn. I don't think any cleaning lady would walk into a meeting if the door's shut. If she saw people in there, she's not walking in.
But if they look
Yeah,
like
yeah,
literally
Rihanna,
borders it.
if they look like Rihanna, they probably would have. They'd be like, you know
No,
what? Can I take out your trash?
Oh, come on
no?
in.
Yeah.
No, they seemed annoyed. Like, they definitely seemed annoyed.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah. Oh, that tall guy who's in a ton of stuff, who always plays like that annoyed, tall, skinny white guy who like leads the security team. He always plays the same guy in like whatever it is. Like he was on
Everything.
the Ozarks. He played one of
he
the
always plays a tall white guy.
senators or congressmen. He always plays a tall, annoying
He's
white
very
guy.
typecasted.
Oh,
yeah,
In
he's-
life, he's a tall, nice white guy.
Okay.
But
But in the movies, he plays
in
a tall, annoying white
tall
guy.
and- yeah.
annoyed. Yeah.
Has he ever
Not
played
even
the
annoyed,
short white guy?
annoyed.
Has he ever played the short white guy?
He's tried, but they don't let him.
Oh, they don't let him. Okay.
He tried to be like,
ridiculous.
hey, cast a bunch of 7-footers. Nope. Won't do it.
Okay.
You're always a tall guy there, pal. So I love that Debbie, again, how many things has she done to jeopardize this heist and going back to prison right from the beginning of the movie? This one, she's like, who can we get to sit next to Daphne? She doesn't have a date. How about my ex, Claude Becker? And it's like, are you kidding me? The guy that put you away, you're going to like put him into there. And at that point, like Lou already was into it. Like
Oh, of
knew
course.
like,
She
all
knew
right,
right
I know
away.
your end game, but she
Right.
let it go a little bit. And then later in the movie, she's like, great plan. Like she was actually like, happy that she had somebody to have a pit on.
Well, it's easy to say great plan when it works out, but if
Yeah,
it didn't
sure.
work out, like she would be like, what a lousy plan. I told you from the beginning, like so that. But if you think about it, and you just made me think about it, Sandra Bullock does the least amount of work in this entire plan.
She's
Oh,
the
100%.
brains. She's the brains.
She came up with the plan, but she literally does nothing because she has her own agenda, and that's all it is. Like she did nothing. Like
Well,
everybody, she
that's
should
what-
have the least amount of.
That's what George Clooney did in the Ocean's movies. He was his whole thing was getting Julia Roberts back. So he
Oh, you know
assembled
what?
it.
You're right. Same story from the first movie. I forgot about that. Okay. No,
It
you're
is-
right. You're right. Okay.
But it's
So she's
instead of
crazy
like
like her brother.
instead of getting someone back though, you're getting revenge on someone who effed your life up.
Yeah, but you know
for
what though?
fuckers.
She's the only one that gave herself an alibi. Like everybody else didn't have an alibi. She made sure that she had an
Well-
alibi the entire time.
But she was there. She put herself out there. She's like, I did it for you guys.
Oh
Like-
yeah. She made sure that the cameras saw her. Like she had a way out. To me, she was going to throw everybody under the bus if they got caught.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
She wasn't going back to prison. That's why, again, because she could have tried to make everybody else have an alibi at some point. I mean, the fact that they were rounding everybody up there, but Sarah Paulson was able to walk around still, while everybody was at the front of the building.
That
Why was she
yeah.
able to?
You mentioning that is like such a good point though. Like, how did she get that high of a position in like such a short amount of time?
In 2
When
weeks,
she's
and-
running the thing. She's running
and
the gala.
She doesn't have to go with everybody else. She's the new person. No one knows
Yeah.
who she is, and she can just walk around.
That's a really
still.
good point.
I think
Yeah.
because she mentioned the nutritionist. Hey, I don't want to overstep
Oh,
my
okay.
bounds,
Oh,
but
yeah.
we're
That
running
was
at
the-
20 to 30% special diets, and we don't have a dietitian. I know a great one.
Okay, and it's not a coincidence. Like you're not going to think like, oh, she's the one that found it.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like
Fishy.
she realized she can't walk out with it. So yeah, okay. I mean, the
And
fact
was
that she
Lou
left
ever
alone.
interviewed, or did she just show up that night? Because we saw
No,
her at the
she was
halal
still
thing,
cooking,
and then she
was
walked
still
in.
cooking. She was still cooking.
Oh
Like
my
like
God.
I don't think Mindy had to go to the front. Like none of them had to go with everybody else, and they're all hired in 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
So at this point, we're pretty much at the heist because we covered a lot of the parts. Like she tries on the necklace for the first time, and then that's when they figure out like, oh, we got to get the special reverse magnet that Nine Ball Sister figures out. But then we get like at the Met Gala, and it was cool when they filmed this movie. They obviously stole some shots. Obviously, they let the Met Gala know, and they got the okay.
Wait,
so you
okay,
see
hold
like
on
the
a
real, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go back to the magnet real quick before we pass over that. If you have $150 million necklace, would a magnet mechanism be the way to lock? Wouldn't you have like a lock and like one key or something like something that's really like it's a magnet, like really like you have a reverse magnet. All right, you probably get another magnet. You just probably kind of like I mean like that doesn't seem like it's so high tech. Where you would
true.
think like it should be like one a fingerprint. Of someone that can take it off. I mean, again, we're not talking about, $1 million neck. We're talking about $150 million. You should have the highest tech thing, not something that 10-year-olds can be able to figure out in 2 seconds.
Yeah. No, you're right, because
sorry.
because it's not like even if it wasn't the magnet, it's not like she can take it off herself. Like in reality, it's not with a key. It's not like you're gonna pick the lock yourself and be with people watching your whole time. You're right. It should be something that is more like
Or like a
permanent,
thumb,
definitely
like a
fingerprint.
thumbprint.
Yeah, I
yeah,
think that'd be it.
absolutely. But not a magnet, really. Like, okay.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're good. But yeah, so you get like the Kardashians, you get like a bunch of random people. Like Heidi was actually like in the movie. She had lines like with Sandra Bullock, and it's kind of funny because they're German and German.
Well, she
talk
recognized
to
the
each
German.
other.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is so
Katie
corny.
Holmes was there.
Common.
Like
Katie Holmes. Yeah. She's like in the
Common.
movie because she's sitting at that table.
Yeah.
Yeah, Common. Yeah,
It
because
was
he's getting interviewed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get like all these different parts, but one part I have to mention before the gala. This is the last stop before they do the gala. Is when they do they go to the Met, and they're all walking around taking pictures and like taking notes and everything, and like the fact that they sneak in. Debbie sneaks in a picture of women crossing the Delaware and putting it up.
Oh
I'm like,
my god!
what a weird thing.
And Banksy.
And no, wait, and
That
no
was a
one
total
saw that.
Such a
Yeah.
subplot.
No one. That was like a picture.
I totally
that was
forgot
like,
about that.
in the frame, like perfectly. So that takes time. You're not going to stick it on there, leave. Like it was like looked like it was part. It was like the real painting, right? No one saw her do that.
Yeah, that was
You know,
really
like-
again. Where are the cameras? That's not
Right.
a 12-foot blind side. So somebody had that on camera. Like I don't understand. They showed a scene in this movie that everything is covered.
Yeah.
So Rihanna gets into the footage. That's why it's like, oh, I need to create this 12-foot buffer. But that's it. That's where the blind spot is. It's not like they could have probably done other places if it made sense. That's the only place they basically said like nobody can see what's going on. So that's where we're gonna do the handoff of the necklace there. And it's
But there's cameras there already, so they don't see her measuring the distance from the wall back.
oh, I know. Pointing something
Like
that looks
they-
like a gun in her hands.
Yeah. Right. I mean, the security doesn't go back in footage. Say, like, has anyone been scoping out in this area? Like obviously later on, it's brought to the attention that there is a blind spot there, and the guy's obviously arguing with him. So wouldn't you think like, all right, so like, what's been going on in that, in like the previous couple
Exactly.
days?
Let's
like,
rewind until we didn't
Brian,
see
something-
this blind
Right.
spot.
Correct. No, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Okay.
But I would like to go to the Met Gala just for when you arrive, and they basically the same thing that we just talked about in a way. But like everybody's dressed in the powdered wigs, like all the men are standing and just staring at the people.
You know what? I would not be surprised if that's really how it is. I mean,
I hope so.
when you see
That
when
was
you
the
see
theme.
some of the outfits, well, just in general though, when you see the outfits on the Met Gala every year, like it is like who wears the most over the top,
Yeah.
like stupid like outfit. Like I don't even understand what the whole point of the Met Gala is. Like like why like everybody loves going there.
Oh, I think
outside
it's like the one event that people show off like crazy fashion. I know award
Well, that's
show
what I
and
mean,
stuff,
like-
but this became the new thing because people don't really watch like even like the MTV. All those award shows aren't as big as they used to be, but this
Correct.
is like the event for ugly
It is,
dresses.
but
for the
okay,
most part.
so are they hiring designers just to make this one ugly outfit that they're never going to wear again?
yeah,
Yeah.
So stupid.
the biggest names, like the most creative people, they'll have like
Alexander McQueen and Dolce Gabbana.
and Alexander McQueen.
That's what I just said.
He just said that.
You remember that from Married with Children? That's Al Bundy would say.
Oh,
when he was naming, I can name all the
yeah,
presidents.
That's the
yeah.
James Pohl. He just keeps doing the same. Dwight D. Eisenhower, and he's going to go back to Eisenhower. He'd name like one or two presidents and then go back. But it's just again, it's a ridiculous thing. And now we peppered on a lot of the sort of the end of the movie, but just to go to so Daphne's ordering the vegan food, but Lou drops into it to make her get sick, and she obviously really is getting sick, right?
Okay. Yes, but and first of all, I don't have a lot of notes in this movie. Like it wasn't a movie that I could take because it was only like a couple
Well,
of
you were
scenes,
angry
kind
the
of
whole
like
time.
I was too. So like I was almost refusing to write notes because I was so angry.
You're crinkling up a magazine.
I'm like, I'm not. Yeah. Okay. Don't get me started. But the fact that the food, first of all, the meal did not look delicious, and she was chowing down. Like first of all, you're at a very like who's who at a place, and she's eating like she's at medieval times.
Well, she did say she
Like,
hadn't eaten in 3 days.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I get that. But you still wouldn't eat like again. You're surrounded by
she was
like,
scarfing
rich
it down.
people,
Yeah.
and she's like like I said, like she's at medieval times. Like she was just like she's supposed to be like the nonchalant, like the head of like Hollywood actresses, and this is how like she's gonna be. Like
It looked like
Sneaker
butternut
burger in the
squash
bathroom
soup.
or the limo or something.
Yeah. And again, it didn't look that appetizing to go
No.
crazy on. Like maybe if it was a good steak, I could see it diving in there. But it looked like prison food.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
It looked like
it was
soup.
not. It was not appetizing.
No, it was soup, but it just but it just looked like it was like mush. Like
Yeah,
it just wasn't like
yeah.
it wasn't like something to get excited about.
Yeah.
No one else was eating.
She was
She
excited.
loved it. She loved it.
Oh, well, she scarfed it down. I mean, it didn't waste time. Yeah,
But then it interrupts your story about the queen, and then me and the queen are having a curtsy. Excuse me.
Okay, I was expecting more of a Dumb and Dumber moment than what happened. I thought it was gonna be a Dumb and Dumber moment.
Really?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure with the
Dude.
when they mentioned the
Why
weight
do you
of
look
the necklace.
surprised?
Oh,
Because why? Just because of the barfing? Are you talking about like when she
No.
went to the bathroom? Like,
I thought she was gonna have a bathroom Jeff Daniels moment.
oh, you know, she was gonna
diarrhea.
Yes.
Oh.
I thought it was laxatives they're putting in there. I didn't think it was going to be. So when she started, because I mean, listen, anytime you see someone pour something into
No,
to make
it's
get
like
someone
a-
sick,
Yeah.
it's usually the other end.
It's like
not
what-
it's
barfing.
like-
It's
Unless you're Wedding Crashers and you put eye drops in the.
yeah, but that was a little. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, so I was expecting like to hear some, some trumpets.
that part. Yeah.
blare.
But that'd have been really hard. How would she have? If she was blowing chunks out that side, how
Why
would
is-
she
wait,
have gotten the
can I ask
necklace
you-
that well?
Wait, so first bubbles, now chunks.
What's wrong with
Who's
chunks?
doing this? I want to know who's the one behind all this.
He's Bubbles' brother.
They needed the money.
Okay. All right, but
How
yeah,
would she have gotten? So Aquafina sneaks into the bathroom. Again, she'd be on the camera, like just before the
Oh, my
blind
God.
spot. When they say, "Oh, she goes in," and then she goes in, they ask her
By
the
the way-
question.
I know.
Oh, where? Who was in the bathroom with you? I don't know. I was vomiting. I don't know anything was going on.
Right,
Oh,
my head was
yeah,
in
with
the
camera.
toilet.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
at that point though, did she know? Like, was she on to them, and that's why she didn't say anything?
But you would have felt like if someone removed if the
No,
weight.
she knew. But no, Anne Hathaway. She said like I didn't know.
Anne
who
Hathaway
was
was
in
in
there.
on it.
That's what I'm saying. That's why she
the
didn't
whole
say anything.
time.
No,
Oh
at
no,
that,
I know
think
that,
at
but I know that part. But I'm saying even if she doesn't say anything, there's
Oh, yeah.
cameras of a
Yeah, I know.
of a
Yeah.
waitress
Yeah.
following her that disappears. Like she's gonna disappear like a ghost in that 12-foot blind spot. So wouldn't you be
No,
like, oh, it's that? But again, the fact that it's found in the fountain and you
I know.
see it go into the bathroom, that's
I know.
like it. And then, hey, that lady's Hammy that just got the job at the Vogue. Let's just keep the camera. Let's follow her for a while. Oh, she put it in.
Yep,
Put it in person.
ridiculous.
It's
But-
over.
What did that remind you of anything when Aquafina went in there and locked all the doors in the stalls?
Oh yeah, True Green. When we pranked Shram.
Yeah.
I wrote that down too. I said great prank. Me and Jamie locked. I did that. I went under, locked both stalls, and we put boots. We took the specialist boots. And put them in the poop
both
position
stalls
for each one.
And so and Shram had to go to the bathroom really bad, and because I heard him, I forget we had, and then he literally went in and out of the bathroom. Do you know Shram?
Steve, yeah.
Shrimp.
Yeah, that's Shrimp.
Yes.
Okay, so he literally went in and out of the bathroom multiple times. He's like, "Oh, the guy's still in there," like because there was boots. you girls see the boots. So it was like it was one of the ultimate pranks.
We made him wait like a couple hours.
It was great. It was classic. So yeah. So anyway, that totally
he got
reminded
real
me that.
sick from it. He went to the hospital, but it was funny. What a prank!
His colon burst. I mean, it was like really like
It was
it was good. It was good. But like it reminded me of that because she literally did the exact same thing. Outside of putting the boots there. So okay.
Did you notice like when the stoner kid brought they were using Tammy to because she was in charge of the event, she could move everybody, getting that waitress, the waiter or busboy to get the necklace to the kitchen. The kid in the hallway, that was James Gandolfini's son.
Yeah.
The one that was
was it?
Oh, I smoked all the weed.
Oh, I didn't even. Wait, his son, his real son, or the son?
His real son,
Michael.
No, his real son that just played him in the
in the movie. Many
yeah.
Saints of Newark.
Yeah.
Okay. But I only knew him because of that trailer. Hey, this is James Gandolfini's son. But when you see him in that role, I'm like, you can see him the way he's acting.
You know
but he's like a stoner.
I want to see the picture again because I totally didn't. Even
just
think
watch
about
the
it.
movie again. Just watch it again.
Just watch it. Just watch. Just buy it.
One and done. I knew going into it I wasn't gonna like it, so I didn't have high expectations. So
here's another big question. Okay, this is the Met Gala. There's a lot going on. There's bad people out there that can sneak things in to do damage and hurt people, right? So tell me how Mindy Kaling, when she's able as the dishwasher, get the jewels, locks herself in the bathroom. First of all, she uses the baby changing station, has a light already set up, and then she opens the cabinet, and it's every tool that you could.
I wrote the same thing down.
Pliers
in the bathroom. It wasn't like she went into the janitor's closet. Right. That was ridiculous. I don't even think they got it in there. I think it just happened to be on the wall. She was able to clip. I don't like.
No, it was like a first aid station, but she transformed it into a toolbox.
Okay. So not only did they sneak it in there, but she basically nailed it to the wall because it was on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah.
So if anyone else went to the bathroom that whole time, they would have seen why is there a tool? Why is there a cabinet right next to the toilet?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Listen, guys, I think we should rob
this up real quick.
I think we should rob the Met Gala. If it's as easy as this, I think we can get away with it.
That's your third crime that you're planning on committing. I mean, I don't know if we could. I don't know if we can be associated with you.
This is not admissible.
I don't want to be.
I don't know.
This is not admissible in court. It's not. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah. You can say it all you want,
good.
but I'm just saying this is your third crime that you're already planning.
Oh no.
But yeah, the fact that they were able to get all those tools in there, and I even thought I think it is a good idea. I guess if they were going to start searching people, but if their plan went correctly. Their plan was basically, hey, Tammy's going to throw this in the water. Hey, we found it. They find it. Party goes back to normal. That's pretty much what's going to happen. So, they never had to have Mindy make, cut up the jewelry and make all the pieces. I get for the end part of the movie of, the selling it back and everything.
Well, the fact that they wore it all out. They wore all the necklace
which
out.
is silly to me. They could have just put it in a bag and then they would have just left.
Or put it in someone's pocket. I mean, unless they were listen, just in case one gets caught, we're all going to get caught.
Maybe.
Right. First of all,
or you don't trust each other. Each person gets that many diamonds to sell.
I would think that after they all had to cram into the lobby and wait and everything else, that they're so annoyed that most people probably would have left. Like I don't think they would go
Yeah.
back in to party. I think at that point, like let's have
Let's
I'm
get
sure
the
there's
hell outta
multiple Hollywood parties they could have went to. I think they I don't think they would go back. But anyway,
At the end of the movie, well, at the end of the movie, but the end of the heist, we finished all the women that we saw in these like waitress outfit, dishwasher, Lou as the nutritionist. The party's over and they're leaving in dresses. These boots were made for walking.
how'd they sneak that in?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where they hid. I mean, you saw them pass. You saw Sarah Paulson bring them in, like the dresses in, and they were like, "Here's
into
your
the warehouse." No,
yeah,
but that was the warehouse.
I know, but
not into the
right. But
unless like it's like quick change, and they were able to just rip off what they had, and it was underneath.
listen,
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Rihanna. Rihanna was stunning. Oof.
Yeah,
they
everybody
all
was
were.
like, and it was like, okay,
Oh, except for-
and they're
except for
hot-
Mindy.
and they're-
Except for me.
Oh, that's not cool, man. and they're each wearing like the jewelry out, and then the next scene is what we talked about earlier with Cartier. They figure out it's a fake. But one guy that I think is so annoying.
James
I mean, I
Corden.
saw him show up in this movie. Yeah.
The director of this movie?
Oh, James Corden directed this
No,
movie?
No,
You said
he did not.
one guy's annoying. I said the director of this movie because
stop. But James Corden, like, I never liked his late night show. I liked the carpool karaoke, but the ones that he wasn't in, like when it was a series and other people were in it, I just find him annoying.
it was an odd
And in
choice. It was an odd choice.
Yes.
Out of
It
everyone,
was an odd
yeah.
choice because what was his goal? Like, his goal at first, you're like, obviously he needs to solve the crime because that's like what his job is. But it was like he knows who Debbie Ocean is, and he knows that she
knows she
is
did it.
going to do. Oh yeah,
He
I know
knows she did it.
But he needed proof that it was Claude, and he gets a photo from her that it's in his place. So it's like, okay, why would she have the photo? Like
Okay,
she put it there.
Of course. And not only that, if she has the photo, she knows where the rest of it is because there was only like 16, like it was a portion of what was stolen. So his job is to find out where it is. Right.
My daughter's
So-
pretty princess.
Nice. So, but so you would think that he's like, all right, well, you know what? Arrest her because she knows where the rest is, and my job is done. So he clearly could care less about doing the right thing for what his job is and the company he works for, the insurance company. Okay.
Yeah.
It
He's
was
not
an
that
odd
good.
choice
Like-
because I've never seen him in any other movie, and I heard he was
in
great
Cats?
in Cats though. Oh yeah, I heard he was great in Cats.
Oh,
No, he's in other stuff. No, I can't
He
think of a
is?
movie off the top of my head, but he's definitely in. He's in, a
He's in
bunch of
so
movies.
much stuff that I just can't think of it. But I mean, I know he's in a lot of stuff. He isn't
Well,
in
you don't
anything.
watch all movies. Maybe there are movies that with
I don't
all
watch
female
his
casts
movies.
that you haven't seen.
I like Bridesmaids. I love Bridesmaids.
is he in Bridesmaids?
Okay, no.
No, he's
Oh.
not.
And I love Sweetest. You ever see The Sweetest Thing with Christina
Yeah.
Applegate?
Yeah,
Great
Cameron Diaz. Yeah,
Love that movie.
Yeah.
See,
From
so it's not
30
a
years ago,
female
yeah.
movie that I don't like. I love those.
So
two
you like the
movies.
movie from 10 years ago and 30 years ago? Wow.
Okay, name another all-female cast.
Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Yes.
Really?
Babysitters Club.
Mean Girls.
So we're gonna. No, I never saw Mean Girls. I won't see that.
What?
I
It's
won't
so
see.
good.
I won't see Pitch Perfect either. You know,
Oh,
like,
I didn't
those,
see that
those
one.
are not
No.
my.
Mean Girls
Okay,
was
see?
good though.
But I think I saw it because that you have Tim Meadows in there, right? I saw it.
Oh,
Amy Poehler, yeah.
the only guy in the movie? Yeah.
doesn't
There's a lot
matter.
of guys in that movie. What do you mean?
No, but he
But it's
only
not
mentioned
a-
Tim Meadows. And I'm like, oh, you got Tina
Well,
Fey, you got Rachel McAdams,
All right.
Prime Lindsay, whew,
Tim Meadows. That's why he was at SNL.
Leon
man.
Phelps, the latest man.
Oh man. Anyway, so listen. I think part of the problem is because this movie is so over the top. Two, they basically remade the original, so that's added to why it's not so good. It just like at least with the first movie, I don't as much as like some of it is like ridiculous. It wasn't over the top like this. Like I mean, like everything in this movie, every detail of this plan is way over the top.
Yeah,
And I
no,
think
they
that's
upped
the problem.
everything. Yeah, I think
And
that's
it-
what you do when you do like a requel in a sense. Obviously,
but-
this is like
but-
the sister, but
Yeah, but you're trying to create, obviously something new, right? You have the guys movie for three of them, so you figured maybe this will be a spin-off and whatever. But you make it where it's just so ridiculous, so over the top, so that it just makes it dumb. Like, what you should have made your own movie. Like, you didn't have to remake the first one, but just ramp it up by 10. Like, I don't know. That's where the problem is, because they're all great actresses except Mindy, and I think they all I think it would be they could have been used better. That's all.
No, I agree.
Anyway.
But no, because pretty much like the end of the movie, we talked about a lot of it, but like the James Corden thing, yeah, I just don't like him, and I think it could have been funnier with someone else, like with some of the interviews. Like even interviewing the kid about the weed, he was really funny. Like thinking like this thing was about weed. I'm so sorry, man.
He's like, it wasn't even mine. It wasn't even my weed.
He smoked all of it. I wasn't even. But so again, so now it goes to, which I thought was a pretty cool part that they did, was when they needed to sell the jewelry and they looked for a bunch of actresses. And dude, I could probably go in IMDb.
Oh my gosh!
Like,
easily.
A few of them were people that we knew, right? Like the one woman looked like not like Zsa Zsa Gabor, but of that era on those type of shows.
No, I feel like one of them might have been an Adam Sandler movie. Like I recognize like some of they definitely, there's like 2 or 3 that I did recognize. Meanwhile, they're probably like 50-something years old. Like, because based on all
the jeweler was the lady who married cousin It in the Adam Sandler movies.
Yes.
That lady who's in a ton of stuff too. She's like another character actress.
I guarantee they all were like old timers. So yeah. Oh, that was funny to go that angle, but yeah. Somehow it worked.
And that was, what was the angle? We find out it was to set up Claude. Like it was like, Claude got these women, but so even that part, like again, the evidence is that the leftover jewelry that they didn't sell, that they left with him as the plant of evidence. Like when Daphne went over there, like who would say no to not getting tied up? So he's like, oh yeah, I gotta get tied up. Why not? Hey, you're taking so long. And she's like getting everything set up. And like, wouldn't it be like, oh yeah, like I only started dating her like a week before the Met Gala, and look what happened. Like she came over here. That wasn't here before. It must have been that. Because even James Corden said it when he was interviewing him at his house. He knew like, hey, you're rich as hell, dude. Like he was rich from being a con man and an artist. He had like a ball in apartment. Like he doesn't need to do this just like Anne Hathaway doesn't need to. So it's like just the fact that he gets set up like that. It was like, okay, end of movie. Like,
honestly, I thought I was watching the beginning of Gerald's game when I was watching that, where she's like, "You want to play a game?" And then I saw handcuffs, and I'm like, "Is he about to like die right now?"
Well, I mean, okay, so here's another thing. Like you have Sandra Bullock in prison for 5 years. She comes up with a plan to steal all the jewelry, but she also comes up with a plan to frame her ex. But that's only because Anne Hathaway joins their team, and if she doesn't join the team, the ex doesn't get framed.
Effed, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So again, everything had to line up perfectly, and it does. Like, so because what was their plan? How was she planning on framing him if she wasn't on board?
Yeah.
No, exactly. No, if it was just Ocean 7, they'd be in jail. Like I think they would have been caught, because if they looked further, they would have looked at the photo evidence, the video evidence. They would have went to the roll of videotape, and they would have saw that. So maybe that's why they needed to frame him that quick. So they were like, "Oh, case closed." This
script should have been thrown in the ocean before it was made. That's what I think. So,
but I thought one thing I think was amazing, because we're at pretty much the end of the movie. But the amount of money, like earlier when it was like 16.5 each, and they talked about like, oh, the hiring the actresses and leaving some of the jewelry. How are we going to each get 16.5? Oh, well, you're not. You're just going to get 38.3. And they're like, but how? And then they do go that they show that scene that we talked about earlier where they had like the little guy like doing like all this acrobats over everything.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Through the red lasers to steal all that jewelry. And they sold that.
She is a criminal. She is a criminal.
Yes.
You're going to tell me they don't know about the 38 million. You think she's going to tell them? Because technically it's how much, I mean, so it was 7 of them. So 38 times 7 or 8. It was 8 of them. So 38, what's 38 times 7? A lot.
Well, quick, it's like, it's like,
well, you're an accountant.
320, 304.
Okay. So 304 million. Okay. That they're basically just, she's giving it away. You don't think they stay silent? Like they don't know about it. Just here's the 8 million that we have, and you know what? Listen, they're all thrilled with the 8 million. You know, it's nothing to sneeze at. and now she's got 300 million.
She's
she
doing
wants
it-
to be fair.
She's doing
No
it for
way.
a bigger cause, though. You saw the monologue she did in the mirror, where she's like, "We're not doing it for me. We're not doing it for you.
Yeah,
We're doing it for
yeah.
the little
Oh, I
8-year-old,
know.
the little 8-year-old that wants to be a
Eight-year-old
criminal. We're doing it
Yeah,
for
she-
them.
yeah.
the
Great role
kid, that's
model.
when someone came out of the bathroom while she's talking out loud about that.
We're doing it for the
Yes,
kids.
yeah.
We're doing it for the kids.
Come on. I mean, she's a career criminal. She's not sharing that money. Sorry.
Yeah.
Think about it. She doesn't know these people. Outside of Lou, she's only known them for 4 weeks.
And Tammy, she
You're gonna
knows
sh-
Tammy well.
She knows Tammy, yeah.
Who's Tammy?
The one she was in her
Tammy's the
garage.
lady that has the target in her garage.
The
yeah.
fencer,
Okay.
yeah.
Remember
the
how
fencer.
uncomfortable she made her feel? It seemed like they used to date. She felt so
Yeah.
uneasy around her.
Yes, but it clearly. I mean, I know she hasn't seen her in 5 years, but I don't think they had a great
Yeah.
relationship. Like she knew him, so I really don't think $300 million. I don't think you're sharing it with a girl who plays 300 Monte in the street, and these people that you barely know. I don't think she's.
And she'll
sharing
get
that.
caught because what does Aquafina do right away?
She's ridiculous.
Vlogging online, going live.
Yeah.
Yo, look at my house. Wouldn't they be like, whoa,
Yeah,
isn't
no
the
one's
girl
gonna
like
question-
Monty me
okay,
in the street last
okay.
week?
No one's gonna question where'd you get the money from?
You were hustling me
you're
for
nobody
20 bucks
somehow.
last week.
Really,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Nine Ball has a bar that's a pool
She
hall.
bought- yeah.
Daphne is now a director. Tammy has a warehouse with a bunch of stolen goods. And we have Lou
was the actress-
revving
okay,
up on the
when she was-
Pacific Coast Highway.
When she was a director, who was the actress? Because it looked exactly like Anne Hathaway.
No, I think
was
that
that
was
Katie
all joke.
Holmes?
She was.
I know it was.
No,
No,
no.
I know it was all joke.
No, it was
But
Anne
I'm just saying-
Hathaway. No, she was making a joke about herself, I think.
So she was playing herself and doing both roles.
Sort of in a way, because she's like, "Oh, just act, just.
No, I
that
know-
was
no,
great,
I know.
But do this
I
and
just
this
wonder-
and this." And she was like, "Why can't? It's pretty easy. Like that's what she said walking away. Yeah.
I was just curious if someone else was dressing up like her. I was curious if it was someone famous, like a cameo.
Oh, it
that
would
you
be
didn't
funny,
know about.
right? If it was a famous
Yeah.
actress that
Might have
like
to- we might
Emily
have to look it
Blunt
up.
or
We'll
somebody
have to look it
did like out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
But yeah, the biggest waste of this movie is the end of the movie. Well, I know Jamie would say the whole movie, but I saw you thinking it. But when she's sitting in the mausoleum with the martini shaker,
Drinking a
with
martini.
the glass, and they do the cinematographer was like so ready for that shot. Okay, we're gonna get the light coming in, we're gonna get the shadows, and they start panning to the right, and you're like, "This is awesome."
George
You're gonna
Clooney's
see a
right.
shadow?
There's going to be a
Quarter.
shadow. Yeah. I was waiting for it.
Don't even have him talk. Like, don't even do the Batman Returns. Like, oh, we couldn't get Michelle Pfeiffer. She was on another movie where he used that like robotic Catwoman thing at the end. No, just use a shadow. That's all you need. That's all you need. And they didn't do it, and it sucked.
Yeah. That was very disappointing.
But this movie,
That was the sucky part. I mean, really, if they did that, the movie was awesome.
Oh, A+.
And I wasn't gonna say the movie of the waste of time. I was gonna say my hour and 45 minutes was a waste of time,
oh, okay.
not the movie. So yeah.
All right, so that was Ocean's 8. Jamie, here, I know you obviously didn't like the movie. What
No.
would be a better iteration? I'll give you two choices for like an Ocean sequel. Let's say I don't know what number. You can pick any number.
Are
Let's
you
do,
are
like,
you saying the
Ocean's
same
9.
cast, or are you saying the
No,
same
not
cast,
the
or
same
just
cast.
in general?
Ocean's 9. Would you prefer a movie that had 9 different, let's say, circus animals committing, like doing a heist, and they speak, and you can have them talk back and forth, or 9 children
Listen,
committing a
okay,
heist
let's-
at the Met Gala?
Okay, listen. I here's the thing, right? In a way, it reminded me of Armageddon, right? When they're rounding up all the people in Armageddon, you're
Yeah.
seeing all these different characters. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with I'm okay with this movie if they didn't make it so throw in your face that she's stealing the minute she comes out, that these over the top ridiculous way of stealing $300 or $400 million, whatever she stole. It was just so over the top that with a bunch of people, it would be one thing if she got her own crew back together, right? Fine. They worked together, done this. You're talking about random people, a girl that works on the street. She's part of this master plan. I just feel like they made it so over the top and ridiculous that that's why it wasn't enjoyable. Again, and Mindy. So outside of all that, if you just had the characters, if you just had the actresses and you have a better plot, and just a better, I think it might work. I just think they try to push it too hard, and I think that was the problem. So no, I would not recommend it. Watch the original 2. Even the third one, I think I don't remember the third one as much, but I remember the first 2 being pretty good. So yeah.
All right. Thank you for that, Nick. Well, Nick, would you recommend this movie? Then I'll ask you that question.
Yeah, I'd probably recommend this movie. I really liked it.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not just going by what I've been put through in the past as far as the movies that I've watched for this podcast. I really enjoyed it. I went in with very low expectations. I was like, I didn't see the last Ocean's 13, and I wasn't like really too thrilled. I mean, they were okay movies, the 11 and 12, but no, I really like this. I thought the cast was really good. I wish,
Nick, if I was you, I would really like it too, because all the other movies you had to watch for us, you know, this is probably the Oscar winner outside of Cannibal Run. This is the Oscar winner. So I mean, I get it why you like it. You know. But
I'm at the summit right now, and I feel like I'm going to be going back down towards.
You're going back down.
Oh yeah, I know.
Now I'm angry. I'm angry. So now I'm going to make sure I'm going to find the absolute worst. I'm looking for tire sequel.
Mirror 4.
Or Ghoulies 3. Ghoulies 3.
No, that's too good. That's too good for you. You're
No,
getting.
Ghoulies
I'm
4.
going to find.
Ghoulies 3 is great. Ghoulies Go to College. Great movie. No, Ghoulies 4, I think. Yeah.
No. I'm gonna find a good one for you, Nick. That, you know what? This is just because you had to like this movie.
I like it. That's great.
I gotta follow
Nick,
my.
thank you.
I gotta follow my heart. Yeah, I'm gonna say watch it.
Good. I appreciate that.
And you agree. And Doug agrees.
Yeah, no, I would say to watch the movie. Again, it's not something I would rewatch. Obviously, I did it for the pod, but I don't know why that's going on. But yeah, so that was Ocean's 8, and I think next up, it's a sequel that is one that I'm telling you, I've seen parts of it. I don't think It's one of those movies like when you're a kid and you have like, you know, Cinemax, Showtime, the illegal black box, all those channels. Like you weren't watching a lot of movies from the beginning unless you were sitting there at 8:05 or 7:10, the odd time some of these movies would start. And it's gonna be Evil Dead 2, which I think is gonna be pretty rad. And for it, we talked to I can't believe when Jamie sent me this guy, I almost fell down because he is like one of those guys that's up there with some of the best special effects guys in the business of all time. His KNB FX group, like everything that him, Greg Nicotero, and Bob Kurtzman, what they've worked on over the years, some of the most amazing things from the 80s films that we all love to like Bride Reanimator was one of their early jobs. They worked on all the Tarantino movies, The Walking Dead, you name it. Look at their website, IMDb. Everything's there. So it was great to talk to Howard. And Howard's been a touchstone to a few of our guests, one being Eddie Yang, which Eddie Yang, when he was young, like a teenager, wanting to work on these movies, Howard and the guys gave him a job of mowing the lawn. And if he mowed the lawn, they would give him some time in the studio and teach him some things. And because of that, Eddie was working on Predator on his winter break, and Howard was working on it and has one of the coolest stories ever. And he also talks about how back in the day, he was so forward, like a lot of these people we talked to, he was writing letters and reaching out to like calling Rick Baker, reaching out to Dick Smith and getting tips on how to do monsters, meeting up with some of these people. So some epic stories from his career. Like he loves the film industry, loves special effects, something he wants to do forever. And he's done some amazing creations. So his career started off on the silly movies. He was working on Ghoulies. He was working on Trancers. He was working on Invasion USA. So early on, he was having these little tiny jobs. But his Predator story, Jamie, I think it's going to knock your socks off. It is so wild.
I'll make sure I'm wearing socks that day.
Oh, dude. Aliens. He has a great story about aliens. So many movies, because like he talks about being nostalgic about before he started his own studio. When he was working at the other ones, like he drives past them sometime and he's like, that's where we filmed like the mother alien scene. And now
That's
it's like an auto body shop. So very cool. Howard's awesome. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.